Hello and welcome to the Weather Hazard Briefing presented by National Weather Service for Friday, December 6th. Here's what you'll see in this presentation. We continue to have high pressure over the Pacific Northwest and the Northern Rockies. This will continue through Saturday afternoon. So surface inversions will continue. Afternoon highs will continue to be fairly warm for this time of year. In fact, some people may see 50 degrees on Saturday. And stagnant conditions will support localized dense fog at times. And in fact, there is a dense fog advisory issued for this morning and actually for all of the overnight hours up until late this morning for the Bear Lake Basin. Light snow is expected for Saturday night and Sunday as a low pressure system moves in to replace that high. There are lesser amounts expected for Sunday night and Monday, really just a dusting and pretty much only at high elevations. And high pressure will return for Tuesday and Wednesday, meaning that it'll be dry with a chance of pretty good chance of some fog after these storms pass through. Here's the latest satellite image. The light blue clouds indicate where we have low clouds or fog. And again, it's pretty dense over in the Treasure Valley. You can see it is making its way down the Magic Valley. So something to look out for, especially for the eastern Magic Valley. And then over here, very tiny, but you can see over the Bear Lake Basin, there is some fog there as well. That has also been dense. And dense fog, especially at these temperatures, can create a layer of black ice on roadways and sidewalks. So step carefully and drive with caution. Elsewhere, there is fog. It's patchy in areas. Some of it is patchy, dense fog, especially in areas, for instance, near the Pocatello Airport and the Arbon Valley. This is our weather risk outlook. It hasn't changed really too much. We have added back a chance of overnight snow. It looked like it would only maybe be a slight chance for the Magic Valley, turning into rain for the most part. But now it looks like it will linger and start earlier. So we have a chance of overnight snow there. Late night snow for the southern hills. In fact, the further east you get, the further south you get, the more it is late night snow. So some overnight, again, most of the snow will be light, and light for the depth purposes of this would be under 6 inches during that period. Sunday, the chance of snow continues, and then mostly in the lower elevations, and in the higher elevations like the Sawtooth, Lemhi County, eastern highlands, snow will be expected once again. And again, this is just light snow, and we'll look at the combined totals between Saturday night and Sunday. Into Monday, there's a lot of locations that's just a slight chance of snow, which is less than 25%. And the only place where it really will continue is the eastern highlands, and even in the southeast highlands, there's just a chance of snow with some rain. And then Tuesday, maybe, and this is mostly in the morning for the eastern highlands, there is a slight chance of some snow on Tuesday morning. All right, so these are the advisories and watches in effect. The gray, the bluish gray, I should say, is a dense fog advisory, and you can see where it is down here from Georgetown down into the Bear Lake area. There's a threat all along there. The same thing is true for areas along I-84 west of, from Glens Ferry westward. And then there is this air stagnation advisory that is issued by the National Weather Service in Boise. For our area, the only places that warrant air stagnation advisories would be the Pocatello area, and then the area going down through Income along this Interstate 15 corridor. And at this time, they do not expect any sort of air quality issues, and so we have not issued one for there. But if it starts to look like that may be the case, then you may see one issued. The rest of this, the wind advisory and the high wind watch, way up here in Montana, in the Livingston area, pretty typical. And then a freezing fog advisory down here in the extreme northeastern corner of Utah. So here we'll start out with temperatures. The highs for today, you can see they're again lower to middle 40s for the Snake River Plain. And then overnight, we continue to get mostly into the teens, maybe some low 20s the further south you go. Then on Saturday, you can see, look at these temperatures here, 54 in Oakley, 51 in Burley. So there's a good area here in Cassia County of temperatures rising to 50 degrees or warmer. And then during the overnight hours, clouds will start to move in, and look at these temperatures here, staying fairly mild for the eastern Magic Valley and the southern hills, and even the lower Snake River Plain, especially on this east side as you go up Interstate 15 and then later US 20. It stays actually fairly mild for this time of year. A lot of other places, widespread teens. Then Sunday with the cloud cover, again, fairly mild temperatures. And then as it starts to clear out Sunday night, we start to see the cold temperatures return for the central Idaho mountains and up here in the Arco Desert area as it gets back into the low teens. But most of the other locations are still staying right around normal for this time of year. Here's how the snowfall will progress. Again, it starts Saturday during the evening hours. You can see it's pretty much limited to the central Idaho mountains, and then it does develop late in that period over the Island Park area, but everywhere pretty much is less than an inch. That's a little bit less than what we were looking at yesterday at this same time. Same here for the late night hours on Saturday night. Again, it's slightly less, but it does spread all the way down to the Wyoming and Utah borders. And then during the day on Sunday, this is actually about the same. And then in the afternoon, it's a little bit more, especially in these higher elevations. And you can see in the lower elevations, the precipitation doesn't turn off, but it does turn to more rain in this area down here from basically Idaho Falls southeast or southwestward. Then for Sunday night, the snow level falls once again. It may even dust Pocatello now, but you can see it's very much less, an inch or less basically for almost all the areas with the exception of the Centennial Mountains and the Tetons east of Driggs. And then even that will die off in the late night hours on Sunday night. And here it is on Monday. You can see very limited areas, mostly just limited areas of Lemhi County, and then in the eastern highlands all the way from the Montana border down to just north of well, as you can see here, even the Bear River Range all the way down to the Utah border. Here's the storm total snowfall. This goes through Monday afternoon, starts Saturday evening, and you can see it struggles to get anywhere. You need the yellow to get 6 inches, and that is very limited areas as far as central and eastern Idaho go. It's mostly below that, and you can see the populated areas, even in the mountains, it's just basically 2 to 4 inches. And then down in the Snake River Plain, eastern Magic Valley, it's basically a dusting of snow, less than an inch, and a lot of that will melt with the rainfall that will fall on it later. Okay, here's our lowest case scenario for storm total snow. You can see there is a chance we get nothing down in the Snake River Plain in eastern Magic Valley, and even in the higher elevations, it may not even get more to be 3 inches. You can see here the highest case scenario, which this basically has a 10% chance of occurring, whereas this lowest case scenario, there's a 90% chance this will at least occur. But over here, you could see, we could get 6 inches in the Centennial Mountains, and maybe even more, on the order of 8 inches or more in some of these isolated areas way up high in the eastern highlands. and again, some more widespread 6-inch to 8-inch here in the central Idaho mountains. And it could reach an inch in Pocatello instead of staying under an inch. Again, but that's just a 10%. That is the remotest, heaviest case occurrence. We will be getting, this would be the liquid equivalent if you were to melt the snow, or where rain will fall, especially down here in areas south of Blackfoot. So some of these areas, even though they were labeled with 0 snow, they will get some light rain. And you can see, even if it was all rain, again, there's not very much, especially in Snake River Plain, 1/10 of an inch or less. Even in a place like Galena Summit, 1/2 an inch of liquid water, which is what translates to, again, 3 to 4 inches up there. Here's what the wind will be doing on the windiest day. The other days outside of this period, or even during the overnight hours on Sunday night, we're not looking for much in the way of wind. It's light. It stays below 10 miles an hour. Here you can see the gusts, the yellowish gray, and the yellow areas are basically 25 to 35 miles an hour. And so this means we aren't really looking for many areas that would reach our wind advisory level, because you'd have to have sustained winds of this strength, and we only have gusts getting that strong. So gusts usually last less than 2 minutes at a time. You can see a lot of areas it's a little bit stronger in the afternoon, but not by much. So this should start developing in the late morning hours especially. That's all I have. If you have any further questions, you can always contact the National Weather Service Pocatello at this telephone number, or check out the weather yourself at weather.gov/Pocatello. Thanks for watching.